Hi, everybody. James here. My name is James Jacoby, and I'm a psychic, medium, life coach. I do all sorts of fun, magical things. Thank you so much for waiting on me. I'm a couple minutes late today. As you can see, my little friend Frankenstein here is joining me. Sometimes she turns her face towards the camera, sometimes not, but she's my cute little kitty. So today is May 2nd, and I think we are kind of in this really fun, magical place. Spring is kind of like right in the middle of things, depending on what your spiritual beliefs are. Yesterday was May Day or Beltane or whatever. And a lot of ancient people believe that that's the very first day of summer, which I will admit, if that's the truth for me, my first day of summer was definitely kind of like a rainy, wet affair because I live in Portland, Oregon, and it's still raining. But even with that idea, there's still so much transformation going on. Last month in April, we talked about so much transformative energy. We talked about the energy of spring kind of coming up and changing with winter, like changing winter into spring, that idea of like the internal introspective energy turning into the explosive, very volatile energy of spring. And now we're kind of into that interesting part of the world, that interesting part of the year, that time of the year where everything's growing, depending on where you live. I know where I'm from, Reno, Nevada, they're still getting snow and everything this late in the season. But for most of you, the world is kind of like right in the middle of spring. Everything's blossoming. Leaves are back on trees. And sometimes it feels like that kind of transformation just happens overnight. I know for me, I was just walking down the path because I have a path by my house that I walk a lot. And I swear it felt like within just like a day, 2 days, one day it was like all barren, the trees were barren and, no leaves at all. And the next day there were like tiny little buds, there's nothing. But then the day after that, it was like every tree had leaves on it, every tree had flowers on it. There were tulips and daffodils and everything everywhere. And so that's what we did last month. Last month we did all that transformative growth potential energy. And this month, what we're going to do is we're going to continue with that transformative energy, but we're going to kind of use it as if, it's like when you get a check in the mail and you've got that check and you're like, oh my gosh, think about all the things I'm going to do once I deposit that money. And now we live in a world where it's like that money's been deposited. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do now that you've got that money in your bank account? This month is going to be all about nourishing yourselves with just the abundance, with the prosperity, with all the beautiful, wonderful energy that is presenting itself and is manifesting. In May, there's Mother's Day, so we're going to work some Mother's energy next week because I think Mother's Day is May 14th. And, we're kind of just going to go from there. We're going to do a lot with that idea of nourishing yourself with the energy that is present, the energy that is, on hand. And I thought, what's a better way to nourish us than to start with the inner child? Because think of those times in your life when you just wanted to be loved, you just wanted to be nourished, you wanted to eat candy for breakfast and just cuddle and snuggle and watch a movie or go to the park or just go on magical adventures all day, every day with your friends and the people you cared about. And really, that's kind of something that we lose as adults. As adults, we kind of lose contact with that inner child. We lose contact with that part of us that is in some ways vulnerable and sometimes kind of weak and simple, because children sometimes are kind of, they're not as mature emotionally or mentally. But at the same time, children have this capacity to explore the world and go on adventures and see magic and everything. And in some ways, they're both like less trusting of the world because like the world kind of scares them, but at the same time they're kind of more trusting of the world. Like they don't judge the world or the people in it for the same reasons that grown-ups judge the world. And so we're just going to kind of take a look at that idea of what was it like for you when you were a child? What was it like when you were excited about Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny or the Tooth Fairy or Peter Pan or any of these other number of things, depending on where you grew up or what your traditions were. And how can we bring some of that magic back into the world? How can we bring some of that magic into your current life right now? Because just as we saw with the Earth, how the Earth kind of transformed itself, it went from this gray, dark, cold place, depending on which hemisphere you lived in, and went through this incredibly beautiful, wonderful transformation. And at least for me, like I said, I live in Portland, Oregon, and at least for me, I'm living in the result of this incredibly powerful transformation. All this earth energy, all this spring energy, all this life energy kind of came out of the woodworks to make everything green and everything beautiful and everything flower. And so we're going to see, how can we use that abundance energy that's already present in your own life, even if it feels like it or not? How can we use that abundance energy to just help create a little bit more magic and create a little bit, make things a little more simpler? Think how simple things were when you were a kid. Even as children, it's like I can remember being in like second grade and being frustrated that I had homework and chores and all these things. But even then, like, the nostalgic, lazy adult in me thinks, how great would that be to go back to second grade, before bills, before responsibilities, before, just all the like crazy adult drama of life, because that's what it is, right? We reach a certain age and we have to worry about doing all these chores and doing our taxes and paying the bills, and not to say that we shouldn't be responsible, because granted, when we become adults, things happen and we have to take care of them. And even when we channel that childhood energy, we still have to handle our own problems and find solutions, but it allows us to do so in a way that is a little easier, that is a little bit more fun, and just kind of exciting and crazy. Hi there, Amy. I'm so glad you joined me. I'm so glad that you were able to be here with us today. And I'm glad that this kind of session is just what you're needed. So we're going to go ahead and start with doing a meditation. So why don't you go ahead and just, if you're in a place where you can close your eyes and just lean back, whether that's in a chair or you can lay on your bed or on the floor, and just take some nice, big, deep breaths. Just allow yourself to participate with yourself in this moment. Acknowledge all the things you've done. Maybe you had to go to work today, or you had to take care of your own children or family or school or any other number of things. And just take some nice, big, deep breaths. Just acknowledge all the things that you've done today. Acknowledge the life you've lived. Acknowledge all the things you had to do and all the things that you are still doing. And just take some nice, big, deep breaths. Allow any fear, any doubt, any judgment, any frustration, anything and everything that may be in your space that you're ready to let go of. Just take some nice, big, deep breaths and just let it all melt away like clouds in the sky. And it might not always feel like it, but that's part of what connecting with our inner child is about acknowledging that even if it feels like right now we're trapped in a storm, or there are clouds blotting out the golden sun up above us, or maybe if things feel dark and cold and strange, that if we can just take a moment, if we can just work on our meditative practice, we can take some nice big deep breaths, if we can give ourselves time and space just to create something new, we can move this stuff out of our space. Just like how clouds will eventually move out of the sky. It doesn't matter if there's a hurricane or a tornado or what, those storm clouds will eventually break away and fly off into the distance, dissolving into nothing. And just allow any and all energy, any and all fear, anything in your space, just let it dissolve away like clouds in the sky. No judgment, no fear, no pain, no doubt. We're not trying to change anything or fix anything or perfect it. We're just very easily, very effortlessly letting it fly away. And just take some nice, big, deep breaths. Next, we're going to go ahead and imagine our grounding cord. So just like how we've done in the past, go ahead and allow your imagination to go down towards your spine, all the way down to the very center of the earth. From that first chakra down at the base of your spine, allow that line of energy to go all the way down to the very center of the earth. And just imagine that you're creating this connection point between you and the earth. The earth is an active participant. Imagine that just like a child holding very firmly but gently onto a balloon string, just imagine the earth grabs a hold of your grounding cord and very firmly but gently just kind of holds that connection secure. Allow the grounding cord from the earth to help bring safety, security, stability. Let it help bring love and joy, peace into your space. When we can connect ourselves to the earth, it can remind us that we've got this incredibly beautiful, wonderful ally just down beneath our feet, who is always there, no matter what we're going through, who's always happy to give to us and nurture us. And today we're going to use the earth quite a bit. We're going to use, well, Amy, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you for sharing that with us. And I just want to honor where you are and what's going on in your life. And we won't be looking at our childhoods necessarily, but it's just that childhood energy. But whatever makes you feel safe, I want you to go ahead and do that. So once again, just go ahead and be with that meditative process. Be with the earth. Because we're going to use the earth today to love us. There's a reason why in traditions we call the earth Mother Earth, because we're going to use the earth to love us and to give us anything and everything that we need, the way a parent would. And so just take some nice, big, deep breaths. I know there was a little bit of an interruption in between, so that's okay. Just take some nice, big, deep breaths. And just allow yourself to be connected to the earth. Be connected to that really beautiful, safe space. That place that is here to love you, to protect you. And even if you didn't feel like you had a lot of love in your own childhood, or you had a lot of safety, or you had a lot of security, or who knows what your situation was, just allow the earth to love you in this moment. Allow the earth to give that to you. Because sometimes humans don't always know how to love each other. Sometimes we mean our best, sometimes we try to do our best, but the earth knows how to love us in this moment. The earth knows how to give us what we need to have. The earth loves us, the earth appreciates us, the earth approves of us. There's nothing that we need to do, or even that we could do, to make the earth love us any more than it does. So just take some nice, big, deep breaths. Remember, the earth has no judgment for you. The earth has no ill will. Just take some nice, big, deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouths. Be aware of that grounding from your first chakra down at the base of your spine. Be aware of that grounding cord all the way down to the very center of the earth. And just be aware of that beautiful, eternal friend just loving you in this moment, ready to give you anything and everything that you need to be your best self. So in your mind, now that you're grounded, I want you to go ahead and just imagine that you can use your grounding cord as like a drain or a tube to just relax and release any and all energy that we send down to the center of the earth. And what we're going to do today is we're going to kind of ground away our adulthood. And now that doesn't mean that you lose your maturity. It doesn't mean that you lose your experience. It doesn't mean you lose your ability to be an adult in the world. But what we're going to do is we're just going to relax and release any and all of that, what I would call adult energy. So in your mind's eye, I want you to imagine any serious energy, the idea of, well, I need to be serious. I need to be in charge. I need to be in control. I want you to just imagine that anything and everything that makes you an adult just travels all the way down to the very center of the earth. Let any fear, any stress, any doubt, any confidence issues, let it just go all the way down to the very center of the earth. Maybe you're at an age where your body is showing signs of being older. Just allow any and all of that just to dissolve down to the center of the earth. The idea of what a physical body is supposed to look like. The idea that, that being old is bad, or, any health problems that maybe you picked up as an adult. Just take some nice big deep breaths and just let anything and everything about you as an adult, just go down to the center of the earth. Maybe there are things you've learned, like maybe there was love you lost, or maybe there are traumatic experiences, or just any number of things that you've experienced as an adult. Just allow that to just flow down to the center of the earth. And don't worry about losing any of your freedom or power as an adult, because you're still going to have that as a child. We're just getting rid of any of the heavy things from being an adult. Any of the hard, heavy things like taxes and bills and chores, having to work 3 jobs or 2 jobs or work overtime, having to struggle about how you're going to make ends meet. Just take some nice, big, deep breaths and just allow any and all of that energy just to relax away down to the very center of the earth. And imagine just like how you would converse with a friend on the phone and just unload all of your troubles to that loving, wonderful friend who's there for you in this moment. Just let yourself relax and release anything and everything you have down to the center of the earth. The earth is happy to hear it, happy to listen, happy to participate with you. So just feel all the stress, all the anxiety, all the pressure, all the seriousness of being an adult. Just go down the grounding cord. Just relax and release. And just take some nice big deep breaths as you feel that happening. As you feel yourself connecting more with that child within, connecting more with that playful, innocent version of you. That version of you who was excited at Christmas time or whatever holidays you celebrated, who was excited about springtime and butterflies and unicorns and magic. That version of you who, maybe was kind of gullible, but in your gullibility was able to see a world that was full of wonder, full of excitement, full of adventure. So just take some nice big deep breaths and just allow yourself to child that you kind of always have been. And if there was any pain or fear or trauma at all in your childhood, allow yourself to acknowledge it and just give any and all of that down to the earth as well. We're not here in this moment to kind of rehash old issues. We're not here to kind of really dig through the trash of what happened to us in our lives, especially in our childhoods. We're here to just kind of bring up the magic and the joy and the wonder and the innocence and the ease of being children. So in this moment, just let any and all fear, frustration, powerlessness, any and all hurts, any and all pain, just let it go all the way down to the very center of the earth. And I want you to just imagine yourself as a child. Maybe see yourself in your mind's eye, see your body changing, see your mind kind of losing the hardness and the edge of adulthood. And just kind of see, allow things to be just a little easier. What as a child did you really enjoy? Maybe did you enjoy, did you have like a favorite pair of cowboy boots that you always wore? Or did you want to be a ballerina? Or did you really like dinosaurs? What was something as a child that you really enjoyed, that the very first time you saw it, you just knew you loved it? For me, when I was a little kid, it was anything that had to do with the ocean. I remember I would get these ocean books, or I remember when I was a little kid, The Little Mermaid came out, and that was my favorite movie just because they lived in the ocean with all the fish and everything. And I just had a ton of, like shark stuffed animals, and I just really loved the ocean. What about you? When you were a little child, did you just really love? And it was so easy to love it. It was so easy to be excited. It was so easy to participate with it. In this moment, as you just take some nice, big, deep breaths, I just want you to imagine that the earth is sending up this incredibly loving, wonderful energy, where the earth is ready to give you whatever it is that you as a child wanted. Just imagine the earth is sending up all this peace, this love, this joy, sending up this excitement, this adventure, just that feeling. Think about, for any of those of you who either have small children or have experienced small children recently, where you can take some little children and give them a big box and a marker, and they can just create an incredibly wonderful, strange, crazy adventure out of nothing. Allow the earth to send that energy to you in this moment. That energy where you can create an exciting, wonderful, crazy adventure out of nothing. And just take some nice, big, deep breaths as you do so. Just take some nice, big, deep breaths as you feel that sense of adventure, that sense of joy, that sense of playfulness just kind of wash over you. No effort, there's no need to force it, nothing to fix. And as that playfulness fills your space, just maybe it's that much easier to let go of that seriousness and that hardness of adulthood. Just continue taking some nice, big, deep breaths. Continue to feel yourself just relaxing and releasing so that you can see yourself as a child. What does child you want? Maybe child you doesn't really care about having a good job or having a good house or having a good car. What does child you want? Maybe child you just wants like a piece of cake and to go play in a field somewhere. Maybe a child you wants to be an astronaut or, go to summer camp or ride an elephant. Just take some nice big deep breaths and just allow yourself to participate. What does child you want? How does child you feel in this moment with all this playful, beautiful, wonderful energy? And just take some nice big deep breaths. There's no judgment, there's no fear. Just feel yourself becoming more and more relaxed in this moment. Feel yourself just feeling happier, feeling better. Now that you're grounded, now that you're able to see yourself as a child, I want you to just go and take some nice big deep breaths. Validate your body, validate all the things you've done just in the last 15, 20 minutes. Validate all the work that it took for you to get just to this moment. Sometimes it can be an effort for us to let go of our adulthood. It can be an effort for us to let go of that desire to control, that desire to fix, that desire to perfect, and just be a child again. Just enjoy this moment. Because that's what children do. Children are very much so in the moment. When they're bored, they're bored. When they're happy, they're happy. When they're sad, they're sad. When they're angry, they're angry. And unless it's some sort of large event like Christmas or a birthday or a trip to Disneyland, children aren't really able to live in the future or live in the past. They just live right now. And as you just relax and release that adulthood, as you relax and release the pain or the regret or the shame or the embarrassment of the past, and you let go of the frustration or the hopes or the stress of the future, just let yourself be in this moment with your child self. And just imagine that the earth is sending up this incredibly beautiful, warm energy to you that is just like the biggest, warmest, most loving hug you've ever had in your entire life. Imagine that it's like you being held by your mother or a loved one, and that they're just cradling you, sheltering you. And just take some nice, big, deep breaths. As you feel yourself in the protective, warm, loving arms of the earth. There's definitely no fear in this moment. Allow yourself to kind of come back to this moment, come back to your body, be back in your room, wherever you are. Take some nice big deep breaths. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and arise from meditation. And so even just in that short meditation, that short moment of just looking at your space, imagining you as a child, imagining yourself letting go of all the stress, all the worries, all the obligations of an adult. How do you feel in this moment with your eyes awake, back in your body? Maybe when you do meditations like that, it's a little easier to hold on to that playfulness, hold on to that joy, to that adventure, that excitement. And if you're able to, I want you to kind of just look around the room you're in and just try to look at it. How would childhood you look at it? Would you look at a piece of furniture and think, oh, I could make a fort out of that, or I could make a sock puppet out of this, or I could go on an adventure with that, or I could use this as a toy, or I wonder what kind of magic that has, or I want you just in your mind to just look around at the world, the room you find yourself in, and allow the inner child in you to participate with where you find yourself. How would you as a child live in this place? How would you play in this place? How would you go on an adventure in this place? And think of yourself as being like 5 or 6, because a 5 or 6-year-old isn't going to see art on the walls or an expensive piece of furniture, or they're not going to see a CD player or any other number of things. A little kid isn't even going to see a messy house. They're not going to see a messy house, or they're not going to see, maybe living in a, maybe even if a place like a car isn't as nice, a child isn't going to see that. Clothes that aren't name brand. A child isn't going to, they're not going to understand that something is cheap, or whatever other hangups or judgments we may have about it. So even if you find yourself in a place that adult you doesn't find enjoyable, or adult you doesn't really love and appreciate, how would child you play in this space? How would child you, with new eyes, the eyes of a child, how would you see this place in this moment? And with your eyes open, just let yourself take some nice big deep breaths. Maybe this is kind of an enlightening or awakening concept. The idea that just because adult us is seeing something doesn't mean that we have to participate with it in an adult way. We don't have to participate with it in an adult fashion. So just take some nice big deep breaths as maybe you see or participate with the world around you for a different way in a very long, for the first time in a long time. And what we're going to do next is I'm going to have you go ahead and you don't have to close your eyes yet, but I'm going to take you back into meditation. And what we're going to do is you're kind of going to go into a place, and you're going to imagine that it's like a big cavernous area that you go into to kind of unlock your childhood magic. And so the way I perceive it is it makes me think of like a sewer with floodgates, but you can think of it as like a room with many doors, or you can think of it as anything that fits for you in this moment. But we're going to go and we're going to see, where is the door, or what is the kind of the place where your childhood magic is locked away. And we're going to open it up and let it flow out into you, into your life, and just kind of let that idea of innocence and specialness and enjoyment and playfulness just flow out into the world. And I say childhood magic because it's the sense of wonder that allowed you to see the world as magical as a child. It's the part of you that allowed you to believe in Santa Claus and unicorns and fairies and just everything in between, everything else. So why don't you go ahead and close your eyes again, make yourself comfortable, take some nice, big, deep breaths, and just kind of acknowledge everything that we've done so far. Sometimes there can be a lot of blockages or a lot of baggage to like accessing our inner child because we were trained so adequately and so well to ignore it, to let go of our imaginations, to let go of those things of make-believe and pretend. So in this moment, just once again, be aware of your first chakra down at the base of your spine. Be aware of that grounding cord down to the very center of the earth. Allow the earth to participate with you. Allow the earth to love you, to keep you safe. Once again, allow yourself to just relax and release all those hard edges of adulthood. Allow yourself to relax and release the pain, the fear, the frustration, the doubt, the uncertainty, the stress. Anything and everything that happened to you in your life past the age of 6 years old. Just let yourself just let it all go. Let the earth have it. Let the earth take those traumatic experiences. Let it take those heartbreaks, those frustrations, those unrequited loves, those unfulfilled dreams, those feelings of failure and lack of self-worth. Just let the earth take all of that from you. Let it go very easily, very effortlessly. No judgment, no pain, no fear. And just take some nice big deep breaths as you just feel all those hard edges of adulthood just going all the way down to the very center of the earth. And imagine that the earth is sending back up to you this incredibly beautiful energy of just playfulness, of joy, of love, of peace, this idea of wanting to go on an adventure. And allow the earth to go with you on this adventure. The earth can be your sidekick in this moment and help you work through anything and everything that arises. Help you work through any drama, work through any fear and frustration. So just take some nice big deep breaths. And in your mind's eye, I want you to imagine that you're in a gigantic chamber. Imagine that it's a big circular chamber and that there are tunnels all around you going in and going out. And they all kind of come from different places and they all go to different places. But right now you're just in the middle of this chamber. It's a nice big chamber. And let's just say that there's tons and tons of hallways and doors. And some of the hallways are bright and wide open. Some of them maybe look kind of dark. Maybe some of them have gates over them. Maybe some of them have doors and you can't even see what's through it. Just in your mind, allow yourself to imagine this huge, huge, huge chamber. And in your mind's eye, I want you to imagine that you're looking for the door or the hallway that goes to your childhood magic. That energy, that essence, that is from when you were a little kid, a little boy or a little girl or a little whoever. That ability, that magic, that energy that allowed you to just have everything be a game, have everything be sparkly, have everything be incredibly wonderful and adventurous, like living in a fairy tale. Because sometimes little kids do live in a fairy tale. I mean, life still goes on around them, but there's this incredibly magical, safe space for children. And in your mind's eye, I want you to see if you can find the door that leads to your childhood magical essence. And when you find it, I want you to just kind of allow yourself to see it. See this doorway. For most of us, it's a door that's kind of bolted up tight. Sometimes it may look like it's dusty because it hasn't been opened in a long time. It may look like there's chains on it, or it might look like it's got like junk piled over it. Maybe it looks like it's open, but you try to go through it and it's like an invisible force field that won't let you pass. In your mind's eye, I just want you to be aware of that door that leads to your childhood magical space. And when you see like you can have it very cleanly, very clearly, I want you to go ahead and imagine that in your mind's eye, you've got this magical like sledgehammer. And I want you to just beat that door down and just break that door apart. Or if you want, you can put a bomb in front of it. But I want you to just go ahead and blow that door up, just break open that door. And break it open in such a way that your magical childhood essence can flow out of that hallway, just like opening a floodgate, and flow into the big open chamber. And when you open the door, it's okay if a bunch of stuff like flows out of there. Sometimes I've worked with people and they have a lot of stagnant energy. They have a lot of stagnant stuff that flows out of that doorway because they kind of had to be dammed up to shut the door. So just in your mind's eye, imagine that you blow up the door, you smash it to smithereens, and just all this incredibly beautiful, wonderful energy just comes pouring out. And with it, it just washes away the debris of the door. And it's okay if it pushes you back a little bit. And just let it, start to fill up this big chamber just with this incredibly magical energy. And let it just take the debris down any and all hallways that it needs to, just to help move it out of your life. And this magical energy, allow it to be like the way magic looks for a little child. A lot of times when people work with it, it's like pink sparkly dust, or it looks like sugar candy, or it looks like pirate's gold, or any number of things. Allow it to be just this incredibly beautiful, wonderful energy. Allow it to have a magical quality, and allow yourself to see its magic as it both fills into the room and just washes away any dirt, any debris, anything else in the space or in you. And allow this energy to actually come to you. Allow it to kind of pool around your feet and then travel up into your body, and let it fill you up with this childhood magical energy, this essence, this like really easy, really fun, really effervescent energy. Like I said, maybe it's rainbow, or maybe it's your favorite shade of your favorite color. Maybe it's sparkly. Maybe it's like a bunch of diamonds. Maybe it's like Halloween candy or Christmas presents, or snow, or the ocean. Or maybe it looks like flower petals. Just allow this energy just to come into your space and just to fill you up with this incredibly beautiful, incredibly wonderful childhood magical energy. And as this energy fills up you, let it go into the chamber, because this chamber kind of represents your life. Let this magical energy fill the chamber all the way up. Let it flow out into each one of the hallways and corridors leading off, just to go off into all the different aspects of your life. And I want you to just take some nice big deep breaths as you just imagine this beautiful golden, or whatever color it is, this incredibly beautiful magic energy just flowing all around you. Maybe it invokes images of like wizards, or Halloween candy, or dinosaurs, or giraffes at the zoo, of race cars, of spaceships, of ballerinas, or anything and everything, of tea parties. Just let this energy just wash over your space. And once again, remember that you're grounded, and just let this magic just wash away anything and everything in life that feels so unmagical. Let it wash away cynicism and sarcasm. Let it wash away doubt and fear and pain and frustration. Just like with a little kid with its, a little kid can have a magic wand and think they're doing something. Let this magic really participate with you in your body, in your space, in your life. And just take some nice, big, deep breaths as this magic childhood energy just relaxes and releases any and all of the pain, any and all of the fear. Just all the adult things that make you not want to believe in magic and not participate with this magical energy. Let it just relax and release away. You know, maybe for you, this energy has the consistency of like chocolate milkshakes. You know, it's got the sweetness and just that incredibly wonderful, satisfying flavor and feeling of being full of ice cream. Just take some nice, big, deep breaths. And now I want you to imagine that this magical energy is just flowing. Let it family, to be with your spouse or your children or your parents or siblings or whoever you consider your family. Let it flow out with your friends. Let it flow out to your work, to your endeavors, so that you can do work with just this magical feeling that children have when they create. Let it flow into your financial situation, into your home, into your car, so that as you create your ideal life, as you create your ideal world, you do it with the magic and the wonder and the excitement of a child. You do it with the love of a child. You do it with the joy of a child. Let this magic from your childhood flow out into the world around you, into your communities, into your states, your nations, your provinces. Let it go out into the entire world. And with everyone it touches, just imagine that those people are able to, imagine that everyone kind of becomes a kindergartner. So as this energy goes out to your family, imagine that that everyone in your family is 5 or 6 again. Imagine all the stress, all the fear, all the pain of adulthood just relaxing and releasing away. Imagine all the pain, all the trauma, any hurts they may have held, your friends, your family, your coworkers. Let it go out into the nation. Let your neighbors, the people who run the government, the police officers, people in prison, people who work at the grocery store, the president, or whoever your national leader may be. Just allow that childhood energy just to go out to the entire world so that everyone can just have that simple joy and that simple like childhood magic. And if there's that part of you that's worried, like, well, what happens? What about the adults? Who will take care of us? That's what the earth is for. Allow the earth to come up and be our mother, to be our caretaker, to love us, to keep us safe, so that we can all be these incredibly beautiful, wonderful children, just going on an adventure. And just continue to just imagine any and all the fear, any doubt, any pain, any frustration, anything and everything from you or any other adults in the world. Just imagine it just going down to the center of the earth. Imagine what it would be like if we could all have the joy and the sincerity and the excitement and the magic of children. What would it look like if we didn't have to compete, or we didn't have to fight, or we didn't have to try to control or change or fix or perfect? That we could all play, we could all have adventures, we could all discover, we could all explore. Just take some nice big deep breaths as you allow yourself to imagine this in your mind's eye. As you allow yourself to imagine, what would it look like for you to have the joy of a child? What would it look like for your friends and family to have the joy of children? What would it look like for the entire world to have the joy of children? And just continue to take some nice big deep breaths as we just kind of continue to meditate on this. So once again, just go ahead and be aware of your grounding core down to the center of the earth. Be aware of yourself in this room with this magical childlike energy flowing into it, flowing into you, flowing into your life. Imagine this childhood energy flowing out into your job, your family, any and all situations you may find yourself in. And just imagine this childhood magic just healing you and loving you. I feel like there's a very important reason that we value and honor the idea of childhood. Adults go to great lengths to make childhood special for children. to make it magical, to make it exciting. And we go through great lengths to make sure that all children feel special, that all children get a Christmas, or all children feel safe and feel loved. And so just allow this childhood energy, this magical, beautiful, wonderful energy, to just go through to help you feel special, help you feel loved, help you just see and experience the magic of life. And I'm just going to give you a couple minutes to just meditate on this on your own. Just continue to take nice, big, deep breaths. Continue to participate with this meditation. Just continue to feel this childhood magic energy all through your space. Just continue to breathe. Just continue to participate with this childhood magic energy. Continue to allow it to flow through you, flow out into the world around you, into your life, out to all the situations you find yourself in, and out to everyone else as well. And allow your childhood energy to flow out in such a way that everyone else can find their own childhood energy. They can find that magic, that fairy dust. And just kind of see it like dominoes, where every single person you touch, it's like you touch them, their child magic turns on, and then they in turn spread it out. It's like ripples in a pond that just keep going and going until every single person on earth, every single person who's ever lived or ever will live, that their childhood magic is activated, and they're able to just live a life full of joy, adventure, excitement, creativity, and just take some nice big deep breaths. Once again, how does it feel different imagining that you lived in a world where everyone was children, had their needs met? So all you had to do was play. All you had to do was go on adventures. All you had to do was eat ice cream and cuddle and watch movies and live the beautiful, magical lives of children. Just take some nice big deep breaths. Now, when you're ready, just allow these images in your mind to just kind of fade away. And even as they fade away, just be aware that you will still have access to this magical child energy. You will still have this beautiful, loving, adventurous, fun energy that is and always has been yours. So just let the chamber kind of fade away. Let the image of everyone else having childhood energy, let that just kind of fade away. Let yourself come back into this moment, back into your body, back into wherever you are. And while still experiencing the joy, the ease, the fun, just the humor, the excitement of this childhood, sparkly, pixie dust magic energy, go ahead and take some nice big deep breaths. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Give your body some love and validation. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and arise from meditation. And as you kind of sit with yourself just in this moment, just allow yourself to continue feeling this energy. Continue feeling what it felt like to be a child. Maybe now it's a little easier to look around your room and see it and think of things the way a child would, the way you as a child would. And I really wanted to work on the inner child today because there's that idea of summer, right? The idea of summer. I always feel like summer is so much for children. I know school systems have changed a little bit, but for a long time, summer would come and you'd be out of school, and summer was the time to explore. Summer was the time to create long-lasting friendships and to go on adventures and to kind of discover the world in ways that we aren't really able to when we have all the obligations of life, even as children. And I just thought it was really important to connect with just this prosperity, the abundance of the upcoming summer and spring, and use it in such a way that we can find love, we can find nourishment, we can find a safe space to kind of work through these energies that we've always been with, but maybe haven't really participated with in a long time. So it's 5:54. We have a couple of minutes left. There's only one person still watching. So if you have any questions or would like to comment at all, right now is definitely the time to do so. Otherwise, I'll kind of go ahead and wrap things up. And for those of you who did watch or people who watch in the future, please definitely leave some comments for me. Let me know, what do you think? What really connects well with you? What doesn't connect well? Do you really like these videos? And if so, which videos do you like more? Which ones would you like me to kind of explore a little more? Because I'm kind of doing this series to just as like an experiment, just to see what people like, what they connect with. As I'm offering you the energy work, I'm kind of doing the energy work for myself as well. So it's kind of like, what do I need to work on in my space? And so please, 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 if you watch this, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you'd like to see in the future, what you'd like to learn. And yeah, just thank you. Thank you so much to everybody who joined me. Once again, my name is James Jacoby. You can find me at Bearded Psychic, beardedpsychic.com, Bearded Psychic on Facebook, Instagram. I do coaching, psychic work, and I definitely see clients. So if that's something you're interested in, please, please, please reach out, and we can set up a time for you. And it doesn't necessarily look like there's any questions, but I just wanted to say that I love you all so much. I'm so thankful that I get to be a part of this, and I'm so thankful that I have the internet to put this out into the world, because there was once a day and age when we kind of had to go on these long, intense spiritual journeys just to get any type of information. And so I'm glad that we don't live in a world where that's necessary anymore. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. So thank you so much. Sweet dreams. Drive safe. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you again next time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.